Imagine someone accuses you of something that isn't true. Maybe it's in a meeting, maybe it's in front of clients, maybe it's online, maybe it's in your personal life. Most people respond immediately. They rush to explain, they defend, justify, argue, and in doing so, they often make the situation worse. Because here's what most people don't understand. The moment you're falsely accused, you're no longer fighting over facts. You're fighting over perception. And perception doesn't always reward the loudest defense. In fact, some of the most powerful people I've ever observed do something very different. Today I want to show you how powerful people respond to false accusations and why their approach often looks completely wrong to everyone else. When we're accused of something unfairly, our brain immediately goes into threat mode. We feel attacked, misunderstood. We feel a desperate need to correct the record. So we start explaining and explaining and explaining. But here's the problem. The more emotional energy you pour into defending yourself, the more you signal that the accusation has power over you. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying ignore false accusations. I'm not saying allow lies to spread. I'm saying powerful people understand something most people miss. Not every accusation deserves an immediate response. Some deserve observation first. Because before you respond, you need to understand what you're actually dealing with. Is this confusion? Is it manipulation or politics? Maybe it's a misunderstanding, an honest mistake, or a deliberate attack. Most people never stop long enough to find out. One of the habits you'll notice among experienced leaders is that they diagnose before they react. Someone makes an accusation, everyone expects an immediate defense. Instead, they ask questions. Something like, can you explain specifically what you mean? Where did that information come from? What evidence are you relying on? Notice what's happening. They're not defending, they're investigating. This does two things. First, it forces the accusation into the light. Second, it shifts the burden back to the person making the claim. Many accusations survive only because nobody asks for specifics. The moment specifics are required, weak accusations begin collapsing under their own weight. Powerful people understand that clarity is often more effective than confrontation. Here's something that makes many people uncomfortable. Sometimes the strongest response is temporary silence. Not permanent silence, but strategic silence. When accusations appear, emotions run high. People choose sides. Rumors spread. Everybody wants a statement immediately. But powerful people know something. A rushed response often becomes a permanent response. And once your words are out there, you can't take them back. That's why you'll often see experienced leaders gather information first. They understand that speed feels satisfying. Accuracy is more valuable. The goal isn't to win the first hour. The goal is to win the entire situation. Most people sacrifice long-term credibility for short-term emotional relief. Powerful people do that opposite. They do the opposite for a reason. Here's another truth people rarely discuss. False accusations don't occur in a vacuum. Your reputation enters the room before you do. Think of credibility like a bank account. Every promise kept, every honest interaction, every professional decision, every moment of integrity. Those deposits accumulate over time. Then one day an accusation appears, and people subconsciously ask themselves, does this sound like this person? Notice the question. They're not evaluating evidence yet. They're evaluating consistency. Powerful people spend years building credibility before they need it. That's why they don't panic when they're challenged. They know reputation is often their first defense, not their explanation. Now, one of the the strangest realities of communication is that excessive defense can create suspicion. The more someone talks, the more opportunities they have to create inconsistency. The more emotional they become, the more attention shifts from facts to behavior. People stop listening to the content. They start analyzing the reaction. And that's dangerous, because now you're being judged on your emotional response instead of the truth. Powerful people avoid this trap. Their response tends to be measured, specific, and controlled, often brief, not because they don't care, but because they understand that composure communicates confidence. Panic communicates uncertainty. Now, when falsely accused, powerful people generally follow a simple sequence. First, they gather facts, like I discussed earlier. Second, they clarify the accusation. And third, they assess the source. The fourth thing they do is they respond proportionally, not emotionally, proportionally. A misunderstanding may require a conversation. A rumor may require correction. A public accusation may require a public response. A malicious attack may require legal action. Different situations require different tools. What they don't do is treat every accusation as a 5-alarm fire, because when every situation gets maximum emotion, your judgment disappears. Here's what most people miss. Power isn't the ability to avoid false accusations. No one gets that privilege. Power is the ability to remain composed when it happens. Anyone can stay calm when they're being praised. Character is revealed when they're being challenged. The people who command the most respect are rarely the people who defend themselves the fastest. They're usually the people who understand the situation before they respond to it. And in a world where everyone feels pressure to react immediately, that kind of restraint has become a competitive advantage. The next time someone accuses you of something that isn't true, resist the urge to defend yourself instantly. Ask yourself a different question. What if the first thing I need isn't a response? What if the first thing I need is understanding? Because the moment you stop reacting and start diagnosing, you've already changed the balance of power in the conversation.